What are we doing now? So this is a continuation of the lesson 2, and we'll go ahead looking at the coordinates and the angles that the Python turtle will be taking in our graphic programming. So this is where we stopped the last time, and I will just close it. And right now, to continue, I'll simply save this again as lesson 3 so we stay on track. So this is it. Now we have a new class. Let me just comment this, please. I will say creating the screen. Yeah. So now we see this. So let's change the color of our square first of all, just for the fun of it. So if I run it, we have a blue square this time. So let me close it up. Now there's one thing I would like us to do. I want us to see the position which turtle takes. So after each time, the moment I create my robot, I want to tell robot now, robot 1 to right. So when I use the right, I can write the position of my robot, which is no, I have to call it. My robot has to call the position robot.pose, and that's how I'll make it write out its position. Let me give a space there. The moment I do this, the robot will simply write something here. If you notice, this is 0, 0. This is the middle of the board, position 0, 0, with 2 decimal points at the end. So I'll go ahead and ask my robot to write its position each time it moves forward. So that's 1, 2, and now when it turns, it writes it. So it will write the position 4 times. So let's run it and see. This is an exercise for you to understand how robot moves. It writes it here: 100, 0, 100, 100, 0, 100. All this has to do with the coordinate system we'll be looking at this point. So now this is my robot standing at the middle of the board. I can tell my robot to move behind and start drawing from here. So if I tell it to move behind, it means it will have to go minus a certain number. So if I say it should go minus 400, and it will be 0 at the end. Let me first draw the coordinate system at this point so you know what is going on. So to do my coordinate system, the first thing I'll do is I'll create a second robot. So this time I'm doing robot 2 is equal to turtle dot turtle. I'm calling it, and I'll just leave it empty for now, and I will be doing something like this. I'll just give it a shape size of say 2 by 2 by 2, and I will give it a color. I'm just making my robot to look good. I'll give it a color, say green, and I will be giving it a pen size, robot.2 pen size. I'll just give it a 3, and I'll still give my robot a speed so we can see exactly how our robot is moving around. I'll just give it the slowest speed. So this is a new robot. If I start my program now, you will see my robot standing on the board. So that's my green robot, and you still see this man drawing, and the two of them are there. So we have two robots now. So let me tell my robot this time to draw a coordinate line for me. So I will tell robot 2, I'll pen it up. I want to pick it up so it doesn't leave a trail. And then I will tell, since the robot is always sitting at the middle of the board and looking right, I want it to look up because I want to start with the Y coordinate. So I will tell robot 2 to turn left 90 degrees. We'll get on to the angles later. So I'll tell robot 2 to go to, I'm giving it a position. Now we know it prints a position, so I will just teach you on this one. The position on the X coordinate is 0, so it's going to draw a line in the middle and go up, and I want to go minus 400, and I will say robot 2 dot pen down, and I will tell it to move robot 2 dot forward. I will just make it to move 800 pixels upwards, and after that I will tell robot 2 to write a Y coordinate. This is the Y, and I'll give it a font. I want it to look a particular way, so I will say Calibri is a font type, and I'll give it a size, and I will make it bold. Fine. So if I do something like this, there's one thing I want to do up here on my board. Now there is something I can do. I want to make my board big enough so you see it directly. I will say this dot setup. I can give it a particular size I want to have. So this one will give me a big board to accommodate this number. So this is what we've just done now, and I will run this. Oh, sorry, there is an S somewhere that doesn't go, and that's somewhere here. So it has to be 2 all the way, and 2, or is robot 2, so we have to check it out. And now let's run it. Yeah, so we see there's a robot going backwards. It's now moving up, and it's going to draw, and you see it still moves, and that's what it's doing. So this time I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I will make it draw the coordinates. So I'll copy everything, copy, Control C. I will just create a space, and I will create a 3rd robot. Now it's robot 3. I'll change everything to robot 3. You're getting this code immediately in the community. If you're in my community, I'm sending it directly there. So there is one thing I have to interchange. This one was in the middle, but this time it's not going to be in the middle. It's going to be instead minus 400, and it's going to be on the X coordinate. So it's going to be this one. So I'm moving from left to right of my board, and I'm going to write X coordinate here. So practically the same thing, but this time it's not moving. So it stands in the middle, and it's not going to move. It's not going to turn in any direction. So this left is not going to work. It's just going to move backward. So that's the difference. This one turns left because it has to go down, but this one just goes behind from where it's standing. So let's run it. That's the robot 2, and that's the robot 3. Yes, and now robot 1 is still doing what it's doing. So you see, that's it. Let me close it one more time. And as I said, let's go back down here. If there is a diamond sign at the beginning, the interpreter will not read it. So I want to show you something. I'm just removing all the writing the robot was writing. So if I run it, you will notice that robot 1 is not writing anything anymore. You see, great. So I want to go back to the codes and actually explain something to you. Now, this is my robot 2. It does the Y coordinate. When we talk of the Y coordinate, it has to do with something with a position, and every position takes two values, the X value and the Y value. The X value is always standing at the beginning, at the front, and the Y value, the second value. So this X coordinate, the line that runs from the left to the right, takes all the values that are always at the beginning of this little vector, the XY, and the value of the line that runs from south to north, from down to top, is the Y value, the second value. So each time you want to give a position, you have to give the X position first and then the Y position. And we know the very first position was 0, 0. So rather than doing this, we can just tell robot 1 to write to make it simple. So we can just tell it to write this 0, 0, and it makes it easier to read. So we can tell robot 1 to write. We knew the second position was 0, 100. Was it? No, it was 100, 0. Though it was on position 100 on the X coordinate, and then 0, it was still, the line was 0, Y. We'll just go inside and look. So if I tell my robot now, oh, let me close this parenthesis here. I have to close it. So if I run it now, you will notice that robot will draw the coordinates. That's the Y coordinate moving from south to north, and this is the X coordinate moving from left to right. So robot moves and writes 0, 0, 100, 0, and here is 100, 100, because you will notice that this is position 100 and this is position 100 on the Y coordinate. So you have something like this. So this is what we're looking at. So let me close it back and finish up with the printing. So if I just copy here, it makes it easier for me, and I come down here and I just paste it there, and I say it's 100, 100. That's the next one. And if I put it down here, I remember it is 0 and 100. So the robot will be writing in a friendlier way. Position, position, position. So that's what the robot is doing. There's one last thing I want to show you in this class. After my robot does everything, I can tell my robot to hide. That's 1 hide total. That's it. So if I run it, and now it's hidden. So we have something like a coordinate system. This is it for today, and in the next class we will see what we can do further.